Hello, foodie friends! And it looks like this is going to be staying with me for a while. So fortunately, Mitch is going to come in the kitchen and help me peel and slice these and get our onion ready. So that's good. At least I won't have to do that. And it's kind of amazing how much injuring your dominant hand can make you feel like an invalid. But we're gonna go ahead and yeah, he's gonna help me with that, so it's all gonna be good. But we're gonna go ahead and persevere through our Lusitania month. And I'm really excited for this one because this week we're gonna go all the way up to first class and see what's on the menu there. I'm really excited about that one because it looks like a really good dinner. And it's surprisingly simple. You know, the only thing that we're gonna really have to do is fry up our steaks and make a really good Bearnaise sauce. And it was just accompanied with mashed potatoes and a really good salad. So I think that's actually a little bit surprising for first class, but that means it's gonna be easy and accessible for the home cook. And so it's gonna be really easy to create a first class dinner from one of the most famous ocean liners in the world. But first we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a history of some of the people that were on board the very last voyage the Lusitania made. Then we're gonna go ahead and start cooking and see how it tastes.
Captain William Turner was born in England in 1856. On the day of the Lusitania disaster, many passengers sighted him with a life jacket standing on the bridge. He didn't leave the ship until the ship literally left him. He died of intestinal cancer in June of 1933. 37-year-old Alfred Vanderbilt boarded the Lusitania in spite of receiving a telegram warning him away from the ship. During the sinking, he helped many women and children. Unfortunately, Vanderbilt did not survive the sinking, nor was his body ever found. Theodate Pope, the first female American architect, boarded the Lusitania with her maid and friend. During the sinking, all three would decide to jump overboard, but only Theodate would survive. She would go on to marry and design buildings including the family estate Hillstead, but her injuries and loss on the Lusitania would continue to haunt her until her death in 1946. 26-year-old newlywed Margaret Guire has the odd distinction of being the only female passenger to survive being sucked down one of Lusitania's funnels and shot back out again. Her still soot and oil-stained camisole she was wearing is still on display at the Imperial War Museum in London. 9-year-old Winnie Barker, however, was not so lucky. She became separated from her mother during the sinking and was never seen again. The purse her mother, who survived, was carrying that day was sold in 2018. Inside was a letter Winnie had wrote to her family about how much fun she had been having on the Lusitania. Now we'll start our Lusitania dinner by peeling our potatoes and slicing them thin in a pot to begin boiling. We'll also go ahead and slice up our onion for the sauce and chop our tarragon. I also decided to go ahead and get our salad ready. I used some fresh romaine, cherry tomatoes, and then tried to grate a carrot. However, since nothing specific was said about what was in the salad on Lusitania, go ahead and feel free to use your favorite ingredients. And as for your steaks, go ahead and salt and pepper each one on both sides. And now we'll go ahead and melt our butter and put some oil in a skillet. Place your steaks in the skillet once both are very hot and sear on all sides. And of course, you can also cook these to your preference. And while the steaks are frying, let's go ahead and check on our potatoes. As soon as they're soft, we'll go ahead and drain them. And then make the mashed potatoes to your preference. I use butter, milk, and some salt. But this time I also put in a little onion salt, and that made them taste even better. And I use an old-fashioned potato masher, but feel free to use your food processor if you'd like a creamier mashed potato. And now here comes the hard part. I'm going to spare you the horrible details that led up to this terrible excuse for a Bearnaise sauce. And I'm going to cut instead straight to the one that worked. First, you will saute your onion and tarragon in about a 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar. Let that simmer down and reduce to about 3 tablespoons of liquid. Strain out your onions and tarragon, but make sure you press the onions and tarragon to get the last little bits of juice out of them. Now, once that's cooled off, go ahead and put your egg yolk in the reduction. And make sure you whisk that together completely before you put it back on the heat. Now you'll take 1 stick of butter, place that in your egg mixture, put it on medium heat, and you'll go ahead and start the melting process. As your butter starts to melt, you will notice that your sauce actually begins to thicken. Pretty soon you will have a nice, thickened, creamy sauce to put over your steak. And now to plate up this historically accurate dinner from the RMS Lusitania, go ahead and give yourself a nice mound of mashed potatoes, a beautiful piece of seared steak, a goodly portion of a pretty colored salad, and then of course a good drizzle of your perfect Bearnaise sauce over your steak.
Well,
that was fun.
That was quite the adventure. Okay, so I guess I will try to make sense of what I did in the description box below. But I was going to link Emeril's recipe, the one we tried first, and
for the, what is it?
The Bearnaise sauce. Yeah. Now, it could have been our fault. We could have misunderstood what he wrote or what someone else wrote, interpreting his yeah. I'm not really sure what happened. I personally don't think that the technique was really easy or maybe even technically true.
Right.
Because we actually, for our second go around, we actually YouTubed another guy, and his technique was completely different.
Yeah, it was very different.
And it worked. It was
well.
beautiful.
Now, he did say his technique was a little different than what other people do it, but it was.
But he said it was old school.
Yeah, it was
so
a little
I'm
more
wondering.
Foolproof, maybe.
Yeah, basically what we did is we used the ingredients minus 1 stick of butter because I felt like it made too much. Mm-hmm. All the ingredients from Emeril with the technique of the other guy.
Right.
So I will try to explain that.
Try to explain that.
Hopefully I did in the voiceover, and hopefully you can link below and see what we did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hopefully
but the sauce looks really good.
It did turn out really well. It looks good. And hopefully it tastes as good.
Yeah. So basically we're kind of just taste testing the meat because Lusitania, it was a standard salad on ship, and it was standard mashed potatoes.
Smashed taters is smashed taters.
Now I did put a little bit of Trader Joe's onion salt with chives in the mashed potatoes, and I think it tasted really good. So if you guys have this, go ahead and throw that in the mashed potatoes because it's good. Yeah. Okay, all right. You ready?
Yeah.
For the big reveal. Okay. Yep, I really like that. Now, one thing I will mention too, I just realized this, we left out the lemon juice the second go around, but the other guy, not Emeril, did not use lemon juice.
Right.
So we're kind of just
did our own thing.
We kind of did our own thing and combined 2 different recipes. So I don't know. What do you think?
Like, at first, all I really noticed is the butter. But like, as it like, the taste kind of rolls around in my mouth a little bit. Mm-hmm. You actually start to notice a lot of hints of other things in there. Mm-hmm. And I think it rounds out the flavor really well. Like, that is actually a really good sauce.
Yeah, no, I actually tasted the tarragon first.
Well, maybe it was the bite I
took.
But
yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I can really taste the tarragon, and I actually really like it.
Yeah, it is really good.
As aggravating as it was to make twice.
I mean, if you just done it the first time right, then it might not.
If we would have just followed this guy on YouTube, if we would have just followed his the first time, we would have been fine. But yeah, I would say go ahead and make the sauce because that's, it really does add a good flavor to the beef. Mm-hmm. And if you watch the other guy's technique, now he uses a lot of like complicated steps and adds a lot more ingredients, and you can totally go there if you want to, or you can do like we did and simplify it by like using the emerald version with his technique. That way you kind of get the sauce done on the table faster. And I think it tastes really good.
It's still really good. I'm sure like adding the tarragon after and stuff like what you did like would add a little, but you can still taste it. Like I think the reduction really did like carry that tarragon flavor and onion flavor, the shallots,
I think so
whatever.
too.
It carried that into the sauce way better than I thought it was going to.
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And the onion salt in the potatoes, really good. Really like that. It punches it up a little bit. Now that might not be, historically accurate with Lusitania, but we don't really actually know because
chives and salt was probably a common.
Yeah, in first class, you could have got garlic mashed potato. There's so many different ways of punching up your mashed potatoes, and I'm sure they would have. I'm sure each chef on the Lusitania kind of had his own little different way of making mashed potatoes a little bit more first class special in a way. So I didn't feel like it was like completely out of the realm to add a little bit more spice to the mashed potatoes. Right. Now, of course, salad, but that was served, with this actual dinner, like the mashed potatoes and the beef. So, I try to do like a complete meal from first class so that you could recreate something for your entire dinner if you want to, instead of just one thing. So I would actually, this to me, and Americans kind of are known for like loving their meat and potatoes. Mm-hmm. So really this is a beautiful meal on your plate. I think the sauce makes it really special, and you've got your beautiful color of your salad and then your mashed potatoes, which is a really good comfort food that most of everybody loves. So even if this wasn't a historically accurate Lusitania dinner, this would just be a really good dinner. Yeah, this would just be a great dinner. And I like the fact that it's quick and easy. I mean, pretty much everyone knows how to make mashed potatoes. You can throw a salad together. And your Bearnaise sauce is really the only thing you need to really
take some time with. But you could actually,
babysit on the
stove. Save it for a little while too. Like,
we're gonna say we've got some other cuts of beef. We'll save it for like the other ones. So you can get several dinners out of this if you want to. But yeah, I would give this a good like solid 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's very good.
For a good dinner. So the chefs of the Lusitania have not disappointed at all. Everything from the menus and you can Google Lusitania menus, and you can see all the ones that they've saved through the years from 1907 to 1915, and you can see that all 3 classes had a really, really good, hearty, well-rounded menu. They did not skimp on the food for anybody. So if you paid your way onto that ship, you knew that you were going to eat really good 3 times a day for the entire length of that voyage, which speaks a lot for the chefs that were on the ship because to my knowledge, I need to look into this a little more, but I'm not, so far in my readings, I haven't noticed if any of the wait staff or the chefs actually survived the sinking. So I'm not sure about that. But, you know, you have to know there's like, they're churning out literally thousands of meals a day.
Yeah.
You know, you're feeding about 2,000 people or more on each, you know, crossing there and back. So you're doing several thousands of meals per day, and you're doing it in 1907 technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in 19, like
There's not
you're
a whole lot of like pre-processed,
I mean, if
already
you
done stuff for you.
yeah, if you think back to the Titanic, they were thrilled that they got an electric potato peeler. You know, and that stuff we take for granted, but that was like some big stuff there,
And
you
now
know?
we can open a bottle of A1 or Heinz 57 and have a steak sauce.
Yeah, you
it
don't
doesn't
need-
complement a steak near as well as this does.
No, it doesn't.
But,
I
yeah.
would say it's better, but yeah, I mean, if you really want, but I mean, to go through what they did, you know, in a hot kitchen for hours and hours a day, churning out these beautiful, gorgeous meals really speaks a lot to the quality of chefs that these ships would have on there, and really the dedication of the wait staff.
Yeah.
I think, you know,
It's a lot
just
of work.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of work for like doing 2 sauces.
Yeah, just for us.
Just for
tonight.
2 people.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you're on the Lusitania and you mess up a Bearnaise sauce for 2,000 people, and you're just like, oh my, yeah. Do you jump overboard or do you make it again? I don't know. I think I would have like grabbed a lifeboat and just, you know, dug off. But anyway, stay tuned for next month because we're wrapping up our ship. We've had 2 months of ship extravaganza, so we're wrapping this up. Now next week I will put out the last Lusitania, or not Lusitania, the last Olympic that got erased and then found and then re-edited.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That one.
Yeah, that one. So we will put the Olympic out for next week, and then that's gonna wrap up our shipping dinners that we're doing. And then for the month of June, this is gonna be fun because my lavender is actually starting to bloom already. Last year I harvested kudos amounts of lavender. It's been drying in my little craft room for like a year now, and it's ready to eat. So for June, we're going to do all lavender recipes, just as many lavender recipes as we can get in there. And there going to be some baking and some sweet, but I actually found some savory dishes
cool.
that you can serve as a main entree. So I'm really excited to try that because I think it's going to be really good. Now, we could either love lavender by the end of the month, or we could be so sick of it we never eat it again, but we're going to find out because it's going to be a big experiment. So, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be really fun. So thank you for watching this one, and hope you stick around for Olympic and lavender, and we'll see you then. Bye.
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.